is Aaron at Power Popaholic, and I am talking today to the beautiful Emilia Suarez, who just has a new single out called Timing. And she has been in the Hulu series Up Here, and she's now in a new movie that is coming out very any day now. So, Amelia, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. I've been very busy, but the best kind of busy. So, been the best kind of tired and all of those things. So, it's been good.
Great. Well, so tell me a little bit about your because we're talking about the music. So let me talk a little bit about your musical background. Where did you get your influences from? When did you start singing and realizing that you wanted to put together songs for yourself?
Yeah, I started doing music when I was really, really young. I think the first artistic thing I did would have been piano lessons, I believe. I always knew I liked singing when I was really young, but I was really like embarrassed and shy about it. Um, But I started taking piano and guitar lessons and singing lessons when I was like 9 or 10 probably. And so I just got really into that. Like being a recording artist was probably my first dream. Um, and I grew up, my parents both like listened to a lot of really old music and love 80s music. And my dad has always listened to like classic 80s Latin music. And so like that has always been a huge influence and I think affects the way that I sing a lot.
Yes.
Um, yeah, and also like, and then as I got older and started really venturing into like what my sound is, I think I get a lot of influence from like Joni Mitchell and Carole King and just like Joan Baez, like other artists that I think I used to be really afraid of. I used to think like an issue with my songwriting was
Right.
how wordy I was and how much I wanted, like I felt like it didn't convey the right thing unless I had this whole elaborate sentence, as you can tell from how I'm speaking. I and then I realized like I love so many artists who were so unapologetically wordy and poetic and thorough, and how much that if like no, I've never thought their songs were doing too much. So
Well, there's
yeah.
one thing about timing that I really liked. There was a lot of subtlety and a lot of richness to the lyrics and the way it
Thank
all
you.
came together. I liked your earlier song, Little Ghost, even better with that
Thank
great
you.
guitar in there. Who does that
Yeah.
guitar? That was great.
That guitarist Josh Earls. He's an absolutely fabulous guitarist. He's one of my producers and engineers, and he's just
Kudos to him. I love the riff.
yeah,
And
yeah.
it
He's
just fits
amazing.
in, and you got a little bit of the Latin beat as well. It's just I think it's a nice counterbalance to timing.
Yeah.
And so the next question is, now that you have the single out, are you working on a full EP or an album?
I'm definitely working towards an EP. I've been working towards an EP for a really long time, and then you write, and then you write more, and then you move in your life, and also having an acting career that is fortunately moving kind of makes you go, okay, well, I'm doing this now. So this kind of, I thought I was going to do this and now I got to put it over here and do this. And I'm starting to understand the balance a bit more, but I am not particularly interested in the full length album at this time so much as I'm interested in um EPs. I think kind of the time capsuleness of
Sure,
smaller chunks feels really right now for me.
got it. So you have been doing quite a bit of singing on Up Here, the
Yeah.
Hulu series. Is there any co-stars that you basically take some lessons from as far as singing in the group? Or is there a lot of coaching going on between every all the actors, or is it the director basically is telling you all right, we want your voice to show up more, your voice tone it down a bit. How does that go? How does that process work?
Sure. Well, the way that we did this show, which there's been a lot of, musical series before. The way we did this, I believe, is a bit of a different mold. And so we really recorded essentially a cast album first. And then we went through and shot the episodes. And sometimes you have to go back and redo it because you're like, okay, they were like, okay, well, if you're going to be, you might be like hanging from a chandelier upside down. If that's the case, you're going to sing it differently and we'll figure it out. So don't worry about it. But so we didn't necessarily do that with each other and didn't give notes to each other, but all of the voices on the show are exceptional. Carlos Valdez and Mae Whitman, who are our two leads, are both have such unique and special voices, and I learn so much from both of them all the time.
Right. I think Carlos is a fabulous actor.
Yeah,
I've been following him,
he's
and I'm not used to
amazing.
seeing him in short hair.
Yeah, he definitely is. I think his like huge flash following is like, what is you're singing and you're dancing and your hair is short. Yeah,
That's
it's
right. That's
amazing.
right. And he's, everyone seems to be really good singing the songs there as
Yeah.
well. So since you're working on an EP, tell me a little bit about, we'll go into a little bit of the acting in your new movie. Tell me about the new movie that's coming out.
The new movie actually is out.
Oh, it's
Crazily
out.
enough,
Okay.
the movie and the series came out the same day, and I released a music video for timing the week before. So it's been a busy time. Been a busy time. A lot of my face on screens. But the film is called A Good Person. It is written and directed by Zach Braff, and it is starring Florence Pugh and Morgan Freeman and Molly Shannon and Celeste O'Connor and a lot of other really brilliant people that I feel just absolutely spoiled to have spent any time with and to have been employed by and all of those things. And it's a film about addiction and loss and grief and recovery. And I play a very small part in that story, and I'm so, so grateful. It was my first professional acting job. It was just the most special experience. It's a really wonderful film, and I hope
Cool.
people learn from it and take the time to see it.
Oh, that's great. I can't wait to check it out. And tell me a little bit about some of the new songs that you're coming up with to fill this
Yeah.
EP. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so my plan is to have I actually have a single coming out April 7th. I'm gonna announce it on Instagram tomorrow, so you're the first to know. But
Awesome.
yeah, so I have a new single coming out called Where We Left Off, and that'll be out April 7th. And then I've got a couple more a brewing that will be coming out in the following weeks as well. So really excited. I My next singles coming out are called Stupid Blue Eyes after that, and then there'll be a song called Zombie. And I'm really excited about them. They each really dig into a kind of a different area of music for me. I hope that the through line of all my music is just me and the fact that I'm, engaging with it as authentically as I can. I'm always going to be, you know, songwriting's like journaling for me. And so I'm always going to be like, I want that slide guitar because it sounds like me crying more than I'm like, oh, it sounds
Right.
so cool. And I'm really fortunate to work with really fabulous engineers and producers as well that can also offer kind of the ear candy stuff from a different perspective. Whereas I'm always coming from, it needs to feel like what the song means to me.
Right.
And I feel like we've really been capturing that with the songs I have coming out. So I'm really excited to share those. And I just keep growing more confident as a songwriter too. I think once you start sharing, like releasing Lil Ghost was like the scariest thing I had ever done.
Really.
And getting, yeah, I mean, you're so afraid that everyone is just gonna think you're so stupid and like, why do you want to share anything? And nobody felt that way. And that was so cool.
Well, I think it's great that you have an opportunity to be heard and to let
Yeah.
get your feelings down on paper and on
Yeah.
on tape, so to speak, so everyone can hear it. And also, raise your profile both as an actor and a musician. There's
Yeah.
quite a few actor musicians out there, so you're following in a good tradition with that. I'm trying to think, is there any current artists right now? Because you mentioned a lot of influences. What current artists are you following or are your favorites?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'll start with very common answers that I think are common for a reason. Big Billie Eilish fan, big Olivia Rodrigo fan. I think what Billie Eilish has done for singing in general, I think is really great. I don't think people talk about that enough because I think that like for so long I felt like if I wasn't like screaming to the gods that I had a useless voice, and I think she shows so much power in using her voice in a really different way. And that made me feel really safe as a singer. And also, she talks about things that are really hard to talk about. And that also
Mhm.
made me braver as as uh as someone releasing things. There were so for so long, and there's still songs that I write and I go, this might just need to be for me. but she takes a lot of those things and she lets them rip. And I think it's made me braver with what I'm willing to
I
share.
think that that self-consciousness when you're songwriting, that's one of the reasons why I really like the group Wet Leg. If you've heard of them,
Oh,
they
yeah, yeah,
are,
yeah, I have.
yeah, they're fabulous. I mean, just the way they go about their process and their
Yeah.
songwriting, it's very like all their hits are basically stuff that they just tossed off. They weren't thinking too hard about it. They were just saying, "This is how I feel," and they were just putting it out there, and it's just beautiful stuff. Anyway,
True.
thank you so much, Emilia
Thank you so
Suarez.
much.
I appreciate the time. I appreciate the effort, and we'll look for your future music as it appears, and your future film projects as it appears.
Great. Thank you so much.
All right, thanks. Take care.
You too.
Along.